So this is part 2 of chapter 3. I'm sorry that we had to sort of like rush into it. I've got so much more to actually talk about with you guys. So here's to the next bit. Markets. So markets, as talked about in chapter 1, I believe, it's like markets vary hugely. So they'll be affected by all things and they have an impact on demand and supply. Small businesses look for local markets, but some small businesses produce highly specialised products and sell them all over the world. Bigger businesses typically have fewer competitors and become very preoccupied with their market shares, as with supermarket chains. So with market size, I'm basically going to define all the types of markets that you're pretty much going to need to know. So market size, normally measured by the total sales of all the businesses in the market added together. Market share, an individual business which expresses their total sales in pounds, if you're watching this from England, as a percentage of the overall market. Market growth is an increase in, sorry for that little mistake, there should be one N, I don't know why I didn't spot that earlier, sorry if there's spelling mistakes, that should be the only one, I hope. So an increase in the demand for a product leads to a negative growth, and which would mean that the product is facing falling demand. So, okay, no, I said that wrong, sorry. So market growth. So if there's an increase in the demand for a product, you know that your market is basically growing. You're expanding your market. It's growing because there's an increase in demand. People are buying more goods and services, and so it's getting huger. Huger? I don't know. Negative growth would mean that the product is facing falling demand. So when you're losing out on sales, and therefore you're starting to lose customers, and therefore you're sort of getting smaller, basically. A mass market is a very large market with a high value of sales by volume. It's straightforward. Mass, like think of a huge mass, like mass. You just think of really big markets. Niche market, I don't know why, but I love this word, niche. A niche market is a small part of an overall market, and it tends to have a certain special characteristic to it. I think there was, if you're doing Edexcel business, there was a question about niche markets. It might have been in section B, where there was a woman that would make halal makeup, I think. I'm not too sure. And so she was targeting a precise sort of segment of the market, and therefore it's a small section. And so basically it's known as a niche market. It is easier, so as I've stated here below, a niche market may be easier to survive if there are fewer competing businesses. This is because, like, although your business is quite small in the whole market, it's a small part, but you're not going to have exact competitors that are also making halal makeup, basically. So you've sort of got an advantage in that sort of sense. Although you are quite small, you will expand, but currently the niche market is you're likely to survive if there are sufficient customers and you've got enough demand and you're selling your products fine. Market segmentation. I like this, I don't know why. So it's when you divide the market into groups of consumers with similar characteristics. Common groupings include age, gender, income, interest, location, etc. It enables products and services to be more effectively produced and targeted for a particular segment. So, like I think I've discussed in the earlier part of chapter 3, it basically, you categorize things, you shorten things down in order to find specific targets. So say I am going to create hobbies, let me think of footballs. So if I'm going to create new footballs, I would categorize them in terms of hobbies and find out who is more of a fan of sports and football, and sort of target them effectively in order to know things, basically. So that's sort of like the way, so hobbies and interests. Advantages, it increases sales, because the more precisely a segment is and identified and provided for, the more likely it is that a sale will be made, so that gives you an advantage. Segmenting the market will reduce direct competition because you're targeting a certain particular thing. Sorry I keep saying thing, I just don't know what other words sort of fit in. I hope you understand this. If you don't, just comment below, I'll help you out. premium prices are charged. So with this, if a market segments exactly what they want, they might charge a higher price. Sort of like the iPhones, like they're sort of known as being the premium sort of phone. They're like the higher up phone, apparently, accordingly. Like, I'm not against iPhones, but I have Samsung right now, and I think that's pretty good still. Every phone has disadvantages and advantages. So, you know, next year I might be on about the iPhone and hating on the Samsung. But the Samsung does have quite good battery life. Anyways. Disadvantages of segmentation. It's expensive, it could be costly to develop, and it ignores other segments. Market positioning, right. So this is how individual products or brands are seen in relation to their competition by the consumers. It may involve a number of changes in price or quality. So with market positioning, I used an example of Skoda cars. So with Skoda cars, I don't really know too much about them, but like they were so poor that their subject were like surrounded by jokes, but then they retained its market position in the minds of the customers by charging competitively priced cars, and therefore they successfully repositioned itself from like being a low branded name to like a really high end car. Lucozade. So you know how Lucozade, love Lucozade. So it used to be like a health drink to aid recovery from illnesses back in the days or something. Probably not back in the days, probably like 5-6 years ago, but to me that's back in the days. And now it's like a trendy sports drink for athletes. So as you see on TV, all these adverts, it's like, you know, Lucozade, drink it up, whatever. So they're sort of market positioning. Product differentiation. I'm sorry if I can't actually say these words. I'm better off writing them than speaking. I'm so glad exams are more written than verbal. So product differentiation occurs when businesses make their products a little different from competing products. So Dyson, with their original bagless vacuum cleaners, they've like repositioned it completely. Market mapping. So I love this. I love supermarkets. It's the best sort of example. I don't know farm foods too well. I think I know the rest. I should know the rest. So advantages: enables a business to spot gaps and to differentiate products. Disadvantages: it could be hard to categorize and it needs more research. So the idea of this is high quality is up here, high prices is up here, low quality is down here, and low prices are here. So generally, you know that Sainsbury's and Tesco's and Asda's are they're like the main three supermarkets. Like they're an oligopolistic, I think that's the word, market. But Waitrose and M&S, you know that they're high quality. They do have high prices, but you know that the quality is good. Lidl. So with this one, I believe that it's low quality and high prices. Lidl. I thought Lidl was low prices. Okay, might be wrong. This could be wrong, but basically the idea of market mapping is to know where different parts of the markets are and where you can target things effectively. Competitive advantage, right, I might have to make a part 3 of this. I'm sorry if there's a part 3. So competitive advantage. So any feature of a business that enables it to compete effectively with rival products. And adding value is altering the product so as to increase its value to I haven't finished my sentence. To the customer. I don't know where customer is. The customer is supposed to be here. Sorry about that. So I put in an Edexcel example. This was the June, I believe it was June 2014 paper, and it was section A in terms of. Okay guys, I'm running out of time. I am so sorry. This is going to have to be in a part 3. Really sorry. I should be done in part 3. So please watch this. It is really useful. Sorry about this guys. I only have a time limit of 10 minutes. So please watch section 3. I'm sorry. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe.